Welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting, as always, live from the Hesselson's studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. We have a couple comments to get to from yesterday's program. By the way, thank you for all the nice messages about the Corning Paint and Post Drama Club interview. They did a great job, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing the Sound of Music. I'll put that up on the screen a little bit later on the poster. Okay, today, just you and me. We've been so busy with guests that I said, and we're going to continue to be busy all week long with guests, but today I said, let's take a moment to catch up, because we have a lot of catching up to do. First of all, this message from a viewer after yesterday's program. Both former New York State governors are losers. This is in reference to yesterday when I brought to you about the interview that Cuomo and Patterson did together on I believe it was a radio show in the city. And Cuomo shouldn't be given the time of day, in my opinion. He is angling for a new position. It is clear. But what he did is unconscionable. And I, for one, have a pretty good memory and have some facts to back up my point, sadly. That's a very good point. The reason I've been bringing it up on the show is I find it fascinating because I want to know what he is angling for, to your point. I think, listen, we know about the scandals. We know what drove him out. I also think it is such a disservice to not just the state, but really to the nation to not look into his nursing home decision and many of the decisions he made during COVID. But the nursing home decision was not just tragic, it was, criminal. And that was at a time when he was riding high. I know former Congressman Joe Semplinsky, who was on the program last week for the anniversary show, was talking about the fact, I used to bring it up when I was in radio, and there's others that would bring that up almost, it was daily. It was nearly nonstop. And Steuben County Manager Jack Wheeler used to come on the program, and we discuss, and it really started out of Steuben when it was noticed, this decision, this mandate from the then governor, Andrew Cuomo. And we talked about it extensively. And I think it's something that continues to be talked about, or should be continued to be talked about. And I know he's going to have to go to a subcommittee hearing in Congress, and hopefully we learn more then. And that actually leads to a very interesting point by Glenn H. Reynolds at the New York Post this morning, who says 4 years on, COVID damage remains while Fauci and company pay no price. And it's not just Fauci. But it is interesting to think it's been 4 years since the, quote, 15 days to slow the spread, the start of the COVID lockdowns that did damage from which we still have not recovered from. And I know that I've talked about this with numerous people and just how much it's changed people, how much it's changed our day-to-day lives to this day. As Glenn Reynolds said, I'm embarrassed to admit that I fell for it. I was a COVID hawk in the early days. It seemed right at the time. Sure, Fauci, Nancy Pelosi, and Bill de Blasio were telling us not to worry, to take cruises and go to visit Chinatown. But I lacked confidence in them, and I was right about that. Yeah, do you remember that at the time? It was almost as if anything Trump said, they would go the opposite, or in this case, it was, no, there's nothing to be worried about. Come out and celebrate. They were talking about St. Patrick's Day and the rest. They reversed course about a week later. Neither the lockdowns nor the masking requirements did any good, though they caused a lot of trauma, inconvenience, and colossal economic destruction. Then there were the deaths. This is what ties in. Then there were the deaths caused by Governor Andrew Cuomo's program of moving still contagious COVID patients into old folks' homes, exposing the most vulnerable people to infection. It was despicable. In short, the government response to COVID was probably more destructive than the virus itself. In retrospect, I should have been more skeptical. And I thought this was just almost a mea culpa, an apology from Glenn Reynolds. The economy still hasn't recovered from the distortions COVID measures introduced. Binge drinking and alcohol-related liver disease are up. Children's education and development have obviously, hopefully, will someday be fixed, but is still a main struggle. And the nation has suffered a deep and widespread loss of trust in institutions, which, to be fair, is entirely justified. Even the New York Times now sees sense, quote, the more time students spent in remote instruction, the further they fell behind. And experts say extended closures did little to stop the spread of COVID, and that was in a Monday piece at the New York Times, of all places. The architects of these disastrous policies, like Fauci, Francis Collins, Deborah Birx, escaped any reckoning. Politicians like Cuomo, Pelosi, and Governor Gavin Newsom cheerily flouted the rules, remember that, they imposed on the little people, the common people, going to dinner parties and otherwise all the defiance of social distancing and mask mandates. Quote, the experts and the expert class blew it, sold out or gloried in putting people under its thumb, and it paid no price. Next time, and there will be a next time. Ignore those people, and if they don't let you ignore them, make them. That's Glenn Harlan Reynolds. He's a professor of law at the University of Tennessee. I thought that was an interesting tie-in with what the viewer had to say about former Governor Andrew Cuomo. We got to take our first break. Stay with us. We're just getting started. I can feel this is going to be a great show. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's Hot Tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Y'all got a lot of stuff here in your water.
You're never gonna believe it, but this can filter up to 60 different contaminants from your water.
It's all about cleaner drinking water.
Dude, that's good water.
And that's good water.
Now that's good water.
That's good water, eh?
No matter where you live, there's a Culligan water expert nearby. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
Attention, you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer. You may be entitled to significant compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer. If you used hair relaxers and now have uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call now to see if you qualify. There's no fee unless we
got a little extra of our view there this morning. I was taking notes. It's a beautiful morning on Marcus Street as we broadcast live from the Hesselson studio here on Frankly Speaking. A couple quick comments already. You guys are coming in hot this morning. If Cuomo was a Republican, he would be in jail over the nursing home issue. Yeah, I mean, especially when you consider they had that ship that could have been used in New York City that then President Trump had sent. You could only imagine. I mean, I know it's a time when they say you can't do whataboutism, but if that were Trump's decision, how would the media's coverage be different? Next comment. I believe Hochul was installed, just like Biden. and Cuomo will try to ride in and fix her mess. We must never forget what Cuomo has done. Reckless endangerment, negligent homicide in our nursing homes. And it's something that is so rarely brought up. And you remember, while he was making that decision, he was as close to a Hollywood movie star as you could get. He was riding high. He was, it was actually talked about, if you recall at the time, that maybe he would move in and run for president instead of Biden. Do you remember that? That's how, I guess you could say, popular he was at the time, except for those of us who knew what was being done. Steuben County being the first to kind of raise the warning flag and saying what is going on here. But it took a long time for any type of criticism. That's not really what ended up bringing the former governor down anyway. Here's a comment from a viewer. Accountability is as rare as a Bigfoot sighting with the media-supported Democrats. Thank you. And there's another nice wave. Yes, we're receiving a lot of waves, a lot of comments. Appreciate it. There's also, and we just don't have time to dive into the nitty-gritty of this, but the Supreme Court hints it may give away our free speech rights in this social media censorship case. Benjamin Weingarten from the New York Post has a great piece if you want to find out more about it. But inside the court, the feds rallied to retain the power to silence those speech advocates and tens of millions more who might dare dissent from a government orthodoxy by coercing, including with social media platforms, to censor them. Disturbingly, the Supreme Court might have bought the government's argument. That would leave the censorship industrial complex intact, guaranteeing not only rampant domestic interference in our elections, but the death knell of our free speech rights in the digital public square. Now, I'm not going to go through all the arguments, and this is not even that lengthy of a piece. We just don't have time for it because I am already running a little bit late. But the court's this is why I bring it up, because, we keep hearing about conservative Supreme Court, conservatives. Well, it does seem, obviously it's got more conservative judges on it, but doesn't it seem very often that conservative judges aren't always a hard line, that you can never be sure of which way they'll go? Outrageously, the government claimed its purported right to speech would be under threat should the court side with the plaintiffs, a right it acknowledged is not constitutional but part of democratic governance. It lamented it would be subjected to sprawling audits if the standards in the case held, and is subjected to oversight and accountability when it threatens our most basic rights. Our ruling regime, that is, played the victim in all this. The court's three most liberal justices unsurprisingly looked to concur with the Fed's perverse view in questioning, but contrast Justice Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. They did not seem favorably disposed to the government's case, but this is why I bring it up. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett were more deferential to it. The case's outcome, therefore, and our right to free speech in the digital public square is likely to hinge on how those three rule: Roberts, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. All right, just wanted to pass that along. I would highly recommend, if you have a chance, to read that article, and it kind of ties in. I'm running late. Well, yeah, it ties in with one other article. Then we're going to get on to presidential. We've got some New York State issues as well that I think you're going to find very interesting. So stay with us. We're just getting started here on Frankly Speaking. Can you tell why we're so excited to go to 2 hours? Because it moves fast with 1 hour. So stay with us.
If you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
Tending them you love is a lot. A lot easier when you share the heavy lifting. Team up with Polaris Ranger, your hard-working partner for backyards, the backwoods, farms, and ranches.
Ithaca Recreation Sports, Route 13 in Newfield. Get outside and ride.
Drivers change lanes very fast, but with no outside mirrors. How come they don't crash? Introducing Angel View, the new wide-angle mirror that reduces blind spots. Angel View simply snaps over your car's rear view mirror, giving you a 160-degree view behind you. Ordinary rear view mirrors are small and flat, but Angel View has a huge mirror with curved glass. This convex shape allows you to see both blind spots with one glance. And with our Pro Edition special coating, it's anti-glare at night. Get your Angel View now for just $19.99 through this special offer. But wait, this may be your last chance to get Angel View at this low price. There is a strict limit of 2 Angel Views per order while supplies last. Order now.
Call 1-800-869-5346. That's 1-800-869-5346. Or visit getangelview.com. So call 1-800-869-5346 now.
Name a food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Sharing the fun. Weeknights on Family Feud.
7 and 6.
Thank you again for joining us here on Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I am your host, Frank Acom. One last thing to tie in with that Supreme Court issue. I was kind of surprised to see this on Drudge Report this morning. The headline was, Sonia Sotomayor must retire. And this is a piece by Josh Barrow. Not overly familiar with Josh, but the reason I found it interesting is... Ruth Bader Ginsburg became such a kind of a pop culture hero to the left that there wasn't a lot of criticism about the fact that she stayed so long and obviously led to another conservative judge. So I was interested to see that they're going after Sonia Sotomayor now. Sonia Sotomayor will turn 70 this June. If she retires this year, Biden will nominate a young and reliably liberal judge to replace her. Republicans do not control the Senate floor and cannot force the seat to be held open like they did when Scalia died. Confirmation of the new justice will be a slam dunk, and liberals will have successfully shored up one of their seats on the court, playing the kind of defense that is smart and prudent when your only hope of controlling the court again relies on both the timing of the deaths or retirements of conservative judges, plus not losing your grip on the 3 seats you already hold. So I thought, well, this is really kind of a strong stance to take. But he says, I thought Democrats had learned some lessons from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg episode about the importance of playing defense on a court where you don't hold the majority. Building a cult of personality around one particular justice served to reinforce the idea that it was reasonable for her to stay on the court far into old age. And her unfortunate choice to do so ultimately led to Amy Coney Barrett's appointment and a string of conservative policy victories. Ooh. All liberals have to show for it is a bunch of dissents and some, kind of pop culture-y home decor. So he really sticks it to, I would assume, his party. That was it. I just thought it was something that I was not expecting on this Tuesday morning. Let's go to New York State for just a moment. Did you see that the top cannabis official, Damian Fagan, I believe is how you pronounce it, has been put on administrative leave? A high-level official at the Office of Cannabis Management, which we've talked so often about on this program, was placed on administrative leave following a New York cannabis insider investigation about how allegations of retaliation and selective enforcement on behalf of the state agency. Damian Fagan, the OCM's chief equity officer, was placed on leave last week. Ooh. So there's been a lot of shakeup. We know Governor Hochul is not overly happy with how things have rolled out. But again, it comes as no surprise. It was kind of that virtue signaling where they wanted to say, hey, see, we're doing it too. And it's going to make us billions. And we've seen the disaster that it is. Maybe you've seen it right in your local area with the illegal shops, not enough people to enforce the rules. I mean, in New York City, and all that money, the illegal shops, we're not making anything from that as taxes. So it has been a disaster, of course, not getting the licenses out to the legal distributors, whatever the official term is. But yeah, so you're going to see some heads roll perhaps. I know that she's sending in, Governor Hochul's sending in somebody to kind of clean house or take a look at the management of the Office of Cannabis Management, ironically. So we'll keep updated on that. Also, coming from New York State, as we move quickly to get through so much, Governor Hochul upset with that office, giving these press conferences as well about public safety, where we know her history. We know not much will be done. It's a lot of window dressing. But she's also focusing on what is important. According to the press release that I received, Governor Hochul launches efforts to protect New Yorkers, you and I, ahead of the total solar eclipse on April 8th. New York State will distribute a limited edition I Love New York eclipse glasses at 30 locations throughout the state, including New York State welcome centers and select service areas along the thruway. The governor urges New York stargazers to be wary of scams, fake merchandise, and phony accommodation listings. She also announces expansion of ongoing I Love New York Eclipse Safety Awareness campaign to include messages promoting glasses distribution across the state. So we'll be seeing a lot of ads to protect you and protect your eyes. And she is building statewide preparations for once-in-a-generation celestial event. Wow, she's doing a lot. The total solar eclipse, she says, will be a once-in-a-generation experience for our state, and it's critical that New Yorkers have the tools and information to enjoy it safely. From heightening awareness of scams to providing thousands of New Yorkers with eclipse glasses, I'm focused on giving everyone the resources they need to safely experience this extraordinary event. I like the way she almost makes it sound like she's paying for this out of pocket, and it's not just your money and my money as we talk about the budgets and how much we spend in this state. Now, if you're not familiar, and I'm going to have, as we get closer, I know you've seen these reports, I'm not going to talk about it extensively, but there are some pretty neat local events that you'll have the opportunity to go to if you want to see that total solar eclipse locally. We're not directly in the path, I understand, but still a neat experience at some of these locations. On April 8th, a total solar eclipse will encompass the western and northern parts of New York with a roughly 100-mile wide path of totality, entering in the southwestern part of the state at just about 3:15 and departing North New York just before 3:30 p.m. All right, there you go. So keep an eye open for your I Love New York limited edition eclipse glasses. Boy, exciting times, huh? Okay, here's interesting. Comment from a viewer. I don't think that the Democrats can allow Cuomo back, especially since they made a deal with Letitia James. To get her to step down from running for governor, they probably made her a deal. If she focuses on damaging Trump and succeeds, they will back her in New York's next gubernatorial election. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of support for Hochul. I could see that being a scenario where she gets primaried by a James. We know that she ran saying that she was going to go after Trump and bring Trump down. And that's what we're seeing, which is, talk about perfect timing from that comment from a viewer, because I do have a really interesting piece when we come back about that. I may get to that a little bit later, but exactly in line with that, which is looking for that bond that Trump has said that he's unable to get because no one even does bonds that big, $500 million essentially. There's a piece, I think it's at the Post, but don't quote me, I'll get to that a little bit later on, which says we can't allow this to happen. Something has to be done. This is setting a scary precedent. It is damaging to business, as we've seen in New York State, where people will no longer want to do business here if that's the kind of a tax that they'll receive while doing things the way that they're always done. We'll get to that in a moment. One last thing about New York, since I'm on it. It's pothole season. It's officially pothole season here in New York. The average cost to repair your car after hitting a pothole last year was $406, according to AAA. With how prices have been rising, it's expected to be one of the most expensive times to get your vehicle fixed this year. If you found yourself frustrated and stranded by the road, you're not alone. AAA found nearly 2 out of 10 drivers had to get their vehicle repaired after hitting a pothole. So welcome to pothole season. Another reason why we constantly bring up CHIPS funding with the Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, Chris Friend, and Senator Tom O'Mara about CHIPS funding and the need to protect our local roads and bridges. Now, let's take another short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox.
America's beloved classic, The Sound of Music, is coming to the stage at Corning Peña Post High School March 21st through the 23rd at 7 p.m. and March 24th at 2 p.m. This timeless story of family, love, and triumph will find you singing along with all the songs you've grown up with. All reserved seats are just $10, so get yours today at www.cppasd.com/tickets. That's www.cppasd.com/tickets. So bring your family today and find your dream.
New 2024 Chevrolet Equinox LS all-wheel drive for 36 months. 2,500 do it signing for only $299 per month. Only at Elm Chevrolet. Visit online at elmchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
You need but they're bulky, awkward, and never put the breeze exactly where you want it. Introducing My Foldaway Fan from Bell & Howell, the compact cordless fan that unfolds into your own personal wind machine and extends to nearly 4 feet high. Its lightweight, portable design makes it easier than ever to have a targeted breeze anywhere. Plus, this whisper-quiet fan has 3 separate speeds, making personalizing your comfort a breeze. My Foldaway Fan's rechargeable lithium battery lasts up to 10 hours, and it has enough power to blast a breeze to the other side of this room. Its unique telescoping stand allows you to place it on the floor, so the breeze will reach anywhere with ease. Then the whole thing folds away for easy storage. Get My Foldaway Fan from Bell & Howell for just 2 payments of $19.99. It comes with the USB cable to make charging fast and easy. My Foldaway Fan. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-349-4156. That's 1-800-349-4156 or go to myfoldawayfan.com.
In a few words. Urkel, glasses. Nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5.
I keep timing my breaks wrong this morning. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking, broadcasting from the Hesselson's studio. I said I'd mention, there's no sense putting it off, these couple pieces. They're almost giddy about the headline, New York State padlock on Trump Tower. Experts say Trump is at the next to last step from ruin, which we know was James's ultimate goal. Attorneys for Donald Trump declared yesterday, as you are aware, that he is unable to secure the $464 million bond. Oh, hold on. That was me yelling with the mic off. You just saw that on live TV. Attorneys for Donald Trump declared Monday that he is unable to secure the $464 million bond due in his New York fraud case, saying that turning over the entire amount is a practical impossibility, and the development could lead to a New York empire becoming property of the state. So you could see, literally, Letitia James putting a padlock on Trump Tower. That's according to legal analyst Glenn Kirshner. It would look like Tish James, figuratively speaking, putting a big New York State padlock on Trump Tower, for example. I don't know at this point. Do you think it would be figuratively? You know, we talked about the Office of Cannabis Management. And bear with me while I'm comparing these two. When I did see that bust, because there was a place right by us when there was an illegal shop that got busted, I happened to be able to witness it all. And to me, it seemed more about the optics in a way, where it was the first thing to come out of the gate was a guy with the posters that said this is illegal. And it just seemed very, as someone that kind of knows a little bit about this, very PR-esque, very public relations focused. So would you think on this side of the coin, as someone who ran saying that they're going to bring down Trump, do you see a scenario where she doesn't maybe just put a padlock on, or definitely the posters, the eviction notice, whatever it would look like, to really have that optic? Because her name would be included in all those articles and all those pictures. It would be such a headline for her. So I think saying figuratively in this scenario may not be accurate. So that ties in with the piece that I wanted to mention, and it's from the New York Post editorial board. Look at all these waves coming in. Thank you so much. Here's another comment from a viewer. When Hochul was elevated to governor, she made a statement that confirmed she would be a loyal puppet for the Democrat agenda and do anything they said. She said, quote, "I'm a Biden Democrat." Thank you for that point, Ken. We are talking about a lot of New York State issues this morning. So this is the piece I promised I'd get to. Democrats have resorted to astonishingly sleazy tricks to stop voters from backing Donald Trump. Yet perhaps none as sleazy as their bid to have a court artificially bankrupt him even before he has a chance to appeal. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I know we've talked about this frequently on the show, but this idea that the party that's running on protecting democracy has been such a threat to democracy, whether it's trying to take Trump off the ballot, in this case, obviously using lawsuits. Trump's lawyers said Monday the ex-president has been unable to get a bond to satisfy a $454 million judgment against him in State Attorney General Letitia James's civil fraud case. And again, I know so many people have said it, but you've got to think of what this does just at a state issue. I know they're willing to just focus on bringing down Trump, but this is going to hurt the business climate even more. But I'll continue. Which was James' real goal, in hopes that impoverishing him will make it hard, if not impossible, to run an effective campaign for president. Unless Trump comes with a bond or cash by next week, James can start seizing his properties. His only way to avoid that, a fire sale of those same properties. It's outrageous. How would he get them back if his appeal succeeds? Either way, his losses would be enormous. And that's the point. They're now saying that he has to give up this money before he can even appeal. Think about that. It's enormously unfair, says the Post editorial board. The penalty itself, nearly $500 million, was beyond absurd and patently biased. No one, not a single person, was harmed by Trump's supposed wrongdoings in this case. Even the judge admitted that. Banks that Trump supposedly defrauded themselves don't think he did. Not one lost a penny. Let me reiterate that. Banks that Trump supposedly defrauded themselves don't think he did. And not one of those banks lost a penny. Yes, the court found he exaggerated the value of his properties, but that's standard practice in the big-time real estate banking world, which is why lenders don't rely on borrowers' estimates. Yet not only did Justice Engoron find Trump guilty, he hit him with $355 million in penalties plus interest. And obviously fearing the fine, this is an important part here, and obviously fearing the fine would be tossed on appeal. Engoron ruled that Trump must raise the dough immediately in order to even be able to appeal the trial court decision. An appellate judge declined to block that post the money now ruling, though a higher court is now reviewing it. How is it possible in America in the year 2024 that a man could be stripped of hundreds of millions of dollars in assets even before he has a chance to appeal? It's simply unthinkable. And you've got to say, is there any doubt none of this would be happening if Trump wasn't running for president? Now James and her pals aim to strip him of his assets based on the most ludicrous charge. Other cases against Trump have enraged the public, only to see voters rally behind him. Expect the same result now. I would agree. I think people see this for what it is, and it's the weaponization of the justice system. It is how people see this, and it's why, Trump said it at one of his rallies a long time ago that he's one indictment away from the White House. That's what it feels like. People are more and more saying, I didn't like Trump. I don't like his attitude or speeches, whatever it is, but I don't like what they're doing, trying to keep him off the ballot, lawsuits like this, et cetera, to not at least give me the opportunity to decide whether I want to vote for him or not. And that's on top of, obviously, the media's campaign, which we've talked about extensively, to bring him down. I've got some examples of that as well. I see a lot of comments coming in. I didn't have a chance to read them yet. I'm going to look at them right now. So please stay with us, and we'll get to some of those comments when we come back here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV. Big Fox. We'll be right back.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
Attention Twitter homeowners. Are you tired of paying too much for your energy bills? It's time you discover Koala Insulation of the Southern Tier, a premier insulation contractor. The professionals at Koala Insulation can give you a free, no-obligation insulation evaluation. It's one of the best home improvement investments you can make. Give us a call at 607-463-0616.
Discover Koala Insulation of Southern Tier. We are fully insured. Visit koalainsulation.com and find us near you.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
Order call 1-800-970-9843. That's 1-800-970-9843, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
We are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hesselsen studio. Not a good job when you mess up your own name. So we have a lot of comments. I hope I'm getting all the. I think I'm missing a few. Just trying to keep up with everybody. But they're such great comments. Keep them coming in. Sorry if I miss anybody here. I'm sure I will. Trying to put them all together. Okay, first. Good morning, Frank. Good morning. With regard to Donald Trump not being able to finance a judgment against him, I almost think and believe that Letitia James' takeover of his properties would gain more votes for Trump and give him the push towards being our next president. That's a very good point. I think it's one of many of these examples where people start to say enough is enough, even if they, I know I quote it all the time, but as former Congressman Joe Semplinsky said on this program, someone might really dislike Donald Trump, but it's things like that that make them realize how much they hate the deep state and hate the deep state more than they dislike Trump. So I think there is a point there, but I think that's a very, very expensive way to get votes. $500 million. But I do think there's an ignorance, because when you're in a bubble and everybody hates Trump and you ran saying you're going to bring down Trump, you don't take the time to take a step back and go, what is the other side saying? What are they thinking? So they don't see the damage they're doing to their own cause with things like this, meaning how many people, the polls show it, have went to Trump, maybe begrudgingly, but went to Trump because they don't like what is being played out here in front of our eyes. Next comment from a viewer. So thank you. That's a really good point. Next comment. The judge in James looked at Trump's financial statements and set the penalty high enough to ensure that he couldn't pay it in the time allocated. There appears to be criminal conduct on the side of the state. I do wonder why this isn't being taken to the Supreme Court. I do too. I wonder why something hasn't been done to stop this at this point. I mean, I think no matter what you think, personally of Trump. You can't look at this and say it's a good thing. Now, you may, from a selfish way, think, well, I don't care, anything that gets Trump. Okay, if that's it, be honest with it. But you can't look at it as this is in any way, shape, or fair, or that you would, what your opinion would, show some empathy and see what your opinion would be if it was, I don't know, Biden that had to go through this, or if it was your candidate of choice, if you saw this. So yes, I do think something should be done, like the Post said. I don't know if anything will be. I mean, I think there's that kind of level of hatred. Next, learn to be careful what I wished for. I thought it couldn't get worse than Cuomo, and then we got Hochul. But no way should he serve New York in any capacity ever again, in my opinion, meaning Cuomo. We know he's itching for something, but we just don't know what. And that's perhaps why I bring him up so much. He's giving the speeches. He's doing a lot of op-eds and radio interviews and the like, and it just, it raises those red flags. I agree he should never be in any type of capacity of power in New York State again, not just because of the sexual harassment issues, that of course, but anybody that has the decision-making capabilities to allow infected COVID patients into nursing homes does not deserve a position of power at any level. Okay, big question. Why did they wait all these years till now to charge him, meaning Trump? Not to mention, they should have gotten a change of venue after she said she was going to go after him or go get him. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of issues, and that's why you're rushing it. That's why you're saying, nope, you got to have the money now. They're trying to do it all almost like a kid before they get caught. Also, one more comment on this. Also, with his alleged overvaluation of his assets in order to secure loans, isn't that the fault of those lending institutions? If you or I went to a lending institution for a loan and we valued our assets at more than they were worth, don't you think those institutions telling you what they value your assets at? Yeah, like that piece said, they don't trust the borrower's numbers. That's why this is all not a case necessarily. It's why people are so outraged over, because no one was hurt in the supposed quote-unquote crime. No one was hurt. The banks didn't know they were taken advantage of. They've said. And they weren't taken advantage of because no one lost one red cent. So there you go. Hey, just before we go to another break, sad news, but on this program so often we talk about community and kind of the people losing their faith and in their communities, in public service, those type of things. According to a new survey from Pew Research, 8 in 10 Americans say religion is losing an influence in public life. Overall, 80% of U.S. adults say religion's role in American life is shrinking, a percentage that's as high as it's ever been. Nearly half, which is 49%, say the decline of religious influence in public life is a bad thing. 8% say religious influence is growing, and that is good. Only 6% say religious influence is growing, and this is bad, and 13% saying religious influence is shrinking, and this is good. Whew. Not positive, not to be all doom and gloom this morning, but just something that kind of ties in when we talk about the importance of getting back involved and kind of getting back to our traditions and our values. We've got to take another short break, so stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we are moving fast, so get those comments in.
Was your premature baby fed a cow's milk baby formula such as Similac or Enfamil? If so, your child may be entitled to significant financial compensation. Evidence shows that cow's milk formulas increase the risk of NEC in premature babies, causing severe harm and even death. If your child was born premature and suffers from NEC, intestinal perforations, sepsis, cerebral palsy, or died as a result, you may have the right to sue for significant financial compensation. Call now for a free case review.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere 3 Series tractor. Not because of the powerful implements, or because of our unmatched dealer support. Not even because it's in it for the long haul. You just have to get in the seat because being this efficient just feels good.
Right now at Lindsay Equipment, save up to $1,500 on remaining in-stock 2023 3 Series compact tractors.
Rated the best hearing aids of
2023 by Forbes, the Audion Atom 2 series offers superior sound quality and functionality for a fraction of the price. For just $189 a pair, the Atom 2 features 4 different hearing modes for all types of hearing loss. It packs crystal clear sound, a nearly invisible design, and is even rechargeable.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids. They're so comfortable, I forget I'm wearing them. And the sound is amazing.
The Atom Pro 2 is our smallest hearing aid yet, featuring advanced background noise cancellation, and is the world's first hearing aid with built-in UV cleaning that kills 99% of bacteria.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed without seeing a doctor or having a hearing test.
Join over 500,000 happy customers today and get the hearing you deserve.
Call 1-800-434-9816 or go to audionhearing.com to get your pair of Audion hearing aids starting at just $189.
Getting aerial video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole new way.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Aiken. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, and I got to thank everybody today. Sorry if I missed anybody. I know that sometimes I get caught up in how many comments we receive, but really great discussion this morning, back and forth. Oh, by the way, I know we got some RFK Jr., I'm not going to say supporters, but perhaps fans or watching from a distance how this is all going. Did you see he got snubbed on St. Patrick's Day? I meant to mention this yesterday, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was, well, you would have to say snubbed, from a family gathering at the White House to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Sunday. His younger sister, Carrie Kennedy, posted a photo featuring about 30 members of the Kennedy family dynasty. Carrie Kennedy captioned the photo of the gathering with the quote, "It's not enough to wish the world were better. You must make the world better. President Biden, you make the world better. Happy St. Patrick's Day." So Kennedy not getting the invite, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. By the way, this I did not realize. According to Real Clear Politics, Kennedy is averaging 15% against Biden's 35.5% and Trump's 39.8%. That's enough. This is why I bring it up. That's enough support to land him on the debate stage alongside Biden and Trump if he can retain those numbers from credible pollsters. So he's actually enough that he could debate. Having said that, I don't believe there's going to be debates. I've made that pretty clear on my position on that. I don't see a scenario where Biden allows a debate to happen. I know the media can talk about the State of the Union all they want, well-rehearsed, well-practiced. It's a whole different ballgame when you get in there with someone, especially like Trump, but just a debate in general. Did you also see, I know we brought this up in the past, I don't want to say I kind of forgot about this, but did you see that Biden didn't acknowledge his 5th granddaughter? That's the child that was fathered by Hunter Biden out of wedlock. It was kind of a controversy for a while because it wasn't fair to the girl. I mean, the girl did nothing wrong, but there seems to be kind of a stigma against her for whatever reason. President Biden on Monday refused to acknowledge his 5th granddaughter, fathered out of wedlock by first son Hunter Biden. This coming from Victor Neva at the New York Post. During remarks at a Women's History Month reception at the White House, he said, quote, "I see a future for all Americans, a future for my daughter and my 4 granddaughters. By the way, they're incredible. You should meet my granddaughters." Oh, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. Typical, we could have wrote that statement for Biden, just how he talks. But Biden, 81, has on numerous occasions claimed that he only has 6 grandchildren, ignoring 4-year-old Navy Joan Roberts, the daughter of Hunter, and his Arkansas, again, an affair he had with London Roberts. It was kind of a controversy for a while, kind of dropped off the map, so I want to give that to you. Also, Biden's got new shoes. Did you see I meant to have the picture up, but we ran out of time. Biden's new footwear. Many believe it's to help protect against falls and stumbles. It's called Hoka Transport sneakers. With his formal suits, it doesn't look that great, kind of is very noticeable. Politico first reported on Biden's increasing use of tennis shoes back in January, citing a source close to the president who said Biden used to resist wearing the casual shoes because he was concerned about not looking presidential enough, but eventually conceded for reasons of comfort. Well, there you go. Whatever the reason may be. We got to take another short break. Stay with us. I see more comments coming in. Keep them coming in if you don't mind. And we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.
Wow. You found it.
I did.
The History of Water Part 6? I've been dying to read this.
I know, honey.
I always wanted that book.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install one of our high-efficiency water softeners, we're thinking about hard water and limescale buildup, so you can just think about longer-lasting appliances and softer skin and hair. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
If you've regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
We are back with Frankly Speaking. It's tough to keep up with all these messages. They're so great. Thank you so much. And if I don't get to them this morning on the air, I'll definitely read them after the program. Here's another one. We all talk about why the Democrat machine is going after Trump and can come up with a lot of reasons. The Democrats realize that the majority of this country is not with them. So the real message that they are sending to the country is, look what we can do to a billionaire ex-president. Sit down, shut up, and we won't do it to you. And I know Trump has spoke on that in the past, and I think that's why they won't show as many of his rallies anymore, because that message resonated with so many people, which was the kind of the forgotten man and forgotten woman out there, and that he was kind of the last safe, or the last one willing to fight for those, maybe the last one to take the brunt of it for the American people. Oh, hey, thank you for this comment. Excellent. Great job you are doing. Love your show. Thank you. I will say we're all excited, and so many people reached out. I know I keep saying it, but it's so nice that we are going 2 hours on April 1st. Today is definitely one of those days I wish we were on 2 hours. Before we go to break, so do you realize, I don't know if you've followed this in the news, but the Hezbollah member that was caught at the border, he would have most likely, according to anonymous sources from the Post that reached out, ISA officials and like that, but had to speak on anonymity, that he would have been released into the United States if he hadn't been the one that admitted to his terror ties. On March 12th, he admitted to a border agent he is a member of Hezbollah. An ICE source told the Post that if, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Abadi had not admitted to being part of Hezbollah, Border Patrol could have potentially released him into the country freely with a date to report to court, or potentially placed him on an ankle monitor as an alternative to detention. And Todd Benson, we got to take a break, has a piece. This is also at the Post. We're Post heavy today. Biden knows terrorists are crossing the border. Why doesn't he stop it? If Abadi didn't admit, he seemed poised to be ushered into America with everyone else crossing the border from all the nations of the Middle East and world who arrive without any identification. None of this is a surprise, yet no one in power has lifted a finger to stop it. In his latest testimony to Congress, only 2 days before Abadi gave himself up, FBI Director Christopher Wray told the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that a wide array of very dangerous threats that emanate from the southwestern border. So I want to be a little careful about how far I go. But there is a particular network that has, where some of the overseas facilitators of the smuggling network have ISIS ties that we are very concerned about, and that we've been spreading enormous amount of effort with our partners that we're investigating. So finally, he wraps up before we go to break. The Biden administration refuses to do the right thing for homeland security in the continuing age of Islamic terrorism, and Americans are the ones at risk. The border is a time bomb. Let's take, I know, scary stuff this morning. Let's take a quick break. Stay with us.
Having a party? Try a picnic pizza party pack. 1 sheet pizza, 2 dozen wings, and a 2-liter of soda.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks are a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen One, the portable oxygen concentrator you can take almost anywhere.
With this little device, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
The Inogen One is so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen One for 30 days completely risk-free. Give us a call right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days completely risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen One system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 1-800-929-7290. Again, that's 1-800-929-7290.
These players are going to play hard-nosed, passionate football. Spring football is here to stay.
The UFL season kicks off March 30th.
Who knocked America in the season premiere? Fox Wednesday, it's a wicked battle at the mic with 4 new mystery celebrities.
Tomorrow. And we are back with Frankly Speaking here on Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Akam, wrapping things up. Boy, it went fast. Hey, here's a good comment from a viewer. Cut New York City loose and make it District of New York, just like D.C. Hey, any plan is okay with me. There's been so many times where we got excited over. I mean, there is obviously a push for it. It just never seems to go anywhere to have a kind of the split. But it would be nice if conversations were ongoing. And I think they are. I just don't know how much oomph is behind them. Here's another comment from a different viewer. There is no end to the lies and cover-up the left will use to get what they want. How can anyone not see this? Well, I think it goes back to the conversation we're having about Letitia James. That in her world, in her bubble, surrounded by yes men and also around people that can't stand Trump, this all seems good because the ends justify the means. It's all worth it to bring down Trump. They don't even have the second to think about the fact that it could lead more people to Trump. That's not even, it can't be, because in their world, everybody hates Trump. And it's only as the media paints Trump supporters as the horrible deplorables, right? The maybe hillbilly type people that they try to portray them as, and not the people that say, I'm really sick of the deep state or the weaponization of the justice system, et cetera, et cetera. Oh no. I like this. From our friend Ken. I'm almost 70, partial, retired a year ago. I've gotten used to getting up about 6:30 now. With your show starting at 6 soon, can you give me a call weekday mornings at about 5:30 to make sure I don't miss it? Sure. We'll start doing wake-up calls for everyone. I do appreciate that. That's funny. That made me laugh pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. And I see the overall reaction has been very positive. I am now, if you can tell, working on different ways to how I can figure out the mornings, getting up a little bit earlier, trying to streamline my time and maybe not have as much time to lounge around. So it's going to be good. Starting April 1st, I'm really looking forward to it. We are out of time, though, for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. I had so many other things to get to. Poor Mike Johnson. How many times are they going to have the Mike Johnson's problems are about to get even worse article? Well, there's more. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for all the amazing comments. We're going to have guests the rest of the week, so make sure, and I know I keep mentioning Phil Palmisano will be in for the show on Friday, too, if you have any questions for him. But we'll have a lot of guests this week, so don't miss it. Starting at 7 for now with Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.
When accidents happen, you want your repair done right. Bring it to Nappy's, or if undrivable, have it towed right to us. It's your choice where to take your vehicle. Nappy's has a state-of-the-art paint booth and a new and improved repair shop. Let our friendly staff of specialists help you through the process and get it done right the first time. Commit to Nappy's, family-owned for 3 generations. Voted #1 auto body repair shop 17 times in the Twin Tiers.
Thank you for your business.
Insist on